Good. There we go. All right. What is going on, everybody? Fandom Effect family. As always, I'm your Sherpa fandom, your guide to everything. And unfortunately, we got away with it last time. Devin found the link again. I'm not quite sure how because I sent you a direct link to Zoom, so I'm not sure how you got this one.
I went on the email, hit forgot password, changed the password, and got in. So I was able to.
You went
figure it all out.
You went full stalker with it. And,
yes.
And found me. Got it.
100%.
All right. So not that it's not creepy or anything, but
yeah, you gotta stop texting that girl too, man. She just totally does not understand what's going on with you.
Hey, dude, I'm texting. I don't know why you're pretending to be a girl in the first place. That's the greater concern to me.
The real question is why are you sending those kind of pictures to people? I don't understand that.
You know why?
That's not even your hand. I know that. So, but I'm excited for today. We have two great actors with us, and they have a brand new movie out, written by one of them and directed by one of them. Most people know Avery Kid Waddell from movies such as The New Guy and Road Trip, but you might have also heard some of his voices in different video games and all sorts of different types of medium. But we also have Derek's in here as well. He's been on plenty of shows such as NCIS, Boston Legal, Strong Medicine. We got different movies like Hope for Love and then Killing Lazarus. I mean, you two, man, you guys are killing it out there right now. Like just movies left and right.
I'm trying.
So,
yeah. Got to do what we can do.
So, Mark, I know we both got a chance to watch their new movie that they got coming out, or is out on Amazon and other platforms called Questions. So, Avery, being the director, you want to give us a little background on what that's all about?
Yeah. So Questions. Questions is a slightly anti-romantic comedy that I wrote. I wrote the very first draft of Questions in 96 actually. And I wrote it because at the time, I was looking at all these films, and at the time, films that were featuring black folks were films. They were all kind of like hood films. I mean, at that time, it was like Boys in the Hood and Menace to Society and a million others, which was cool. I mean, those stories need to be told. But I was just getting a little bit like, man, I want to see some other stories too, featuring people that look like me. And I was always a huge Woody Allen fan. I always loved his films. So I was always like, man, I'd love to see that type of film, starring some minority, and so I said, well, why not just go ahead and try to write one? And that's how it started. And so I wrote one and went through a long journey to finally get it produced. We finally did get it produced, and now it's out now, just like you said, on Amazon and iTunes and Google and basically almost all the major streaming platforms.
Now, Derek's, when he came to you and said, "Hey, I got this movie, and I think it'd be perfect for you," what was your initial thought on that process?
I was like, why? I was working with Avery on another project that he brought I'm being on. And so when he told me, I was like, oh, okay, cool. I was like, what's the character? And he was like, oh, he's cool. I mean, he's, you should read the script. I think you check it out. So, but I trusted Avery. I knew, he's very talented. So I definitely, I read the script and I thought, you know what? Sure, man, I'd love to be part of it. So we actually did a sizzle as a little trailer at first. And so we were able to see like all our chemistry was really, really great. And it just really made sense and it rocked. And so then when we did the feature, it was a no brainer. Like, let's go get it. And then Mark, our other producer who initially worked with Avery, they then asked me and said if I wanted the opportunity to also come on as a producer. So that
Yeah.
was really intriguing to me too. So I was, able to act, and it was my first opportunity as a producer on a feature. So that was awesome.
Very cool.
I do have to ask because when I was watching it, I'm like, this is good. I'm laughing on stuff, and then all of a sudden, there's this part where you're completely covered in green from head to toe. My question is how did he get you to do that? Like,
well,
I'm gonna tell you.
You can respond to that, dude.
I had to. I had to work through that. I had to work through that, man, because I was like, "Oh, real? Like, yo, like, what's with the green, man? Like, what's with the? What we doing?" And I just, I was committed to the character, so I did it, man. It was a tough thing to do, but we did it. And our makeup artist, she was awesome, Gina, and she put it on. And but I tell you what, I never wore so much underwear and more of those tights in my life to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Oh my! I was laughing so hard when he called you the Jolly Green Giant. I was laughing. I was rolling. I was sitting there watching it because Mark knows this. We tend to watch sometimes when we're working. We tend to watch stuff and get like updated and stuff. What's going on? So,
right.
I was watching the movie while I was working. I was sitting there working, and all of a sudden, I'm like sitting there watching it. And he goes, "Look at you with your Jolly Green ass." I was like, "Oh my god."
Man, I was so listen. You saw it wasn't hard for me not to laugh. It wasn't funny to me. I wanted to hurry up and get through the scene. I was.
I'm done.
Yeah, that was a tough one. That was a tough one to get through.
Oh man! So, there's another scene that I want to talk to you about, Avery, where we're gonna say Brian's character. Or the character Brian gets a set of drawers from his girl.
Oh man! Oh man!
And I was like, first off, you look at his underwear in the movie, and it looks like somebody just went through, shredded it, sent it through a bleach washer, all this sorts of stuff. And I mean, most guys are gonna be like, yeah, my shorts don't get like that. But when he comes out in his man thong, I was just like, bro. So, I mean, I have to say, like, how much convincing do you have to give your friends to be like, hey, I got this part for you. It's perfect.
But there's a couple
Here's
little things though. Few little things, real quick.
You know what it is. By the
when
way,
I saw the underwear, I was like, I'll put green on. I'll put green on. I'm not doing that one.
I've changed my mind in the first thing. Let's do that one.
You know what it is. And by the way, shout out to Danny Wooten, who plays Brian. That it's just one of these things where they're both Derek's, Danny, they're both fantastic, great actors. So with that, that as long as the character tracks, right? As long as it makes sense for the character, it actually didn't take that much convincing. I mean, I had to. What I did have to do was kind of like not tell them beforehand and let them read the script and see it that way, because that made it easier. Because then they could see it in context, and they were like, right. "Oh, okay, well, all right." But if I would have tried to say beforehand, before they read it, like, "All right, look, so there's some stuff in here." I don't know. It might have been. I don't know if they would have been down.
Oh man! So let me, with COVID going on and everything, obviously it kind of started up in the beginning of 2020, but it was actually hitting more towards December of 2019. Were you guys starting to kind of when you started hearing about this, were you guys kind of getting worried about the release of your movie and stuff, or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. When COVID started, really popping up, we were actually doing theatrical screenings of it. We were kind of, going across the country and screening in theaters for short periods of time, and at a time. And so right before COVID kind of really just shut everything down, we had just screened in Chicago, and, had a wonderful sellout audience. They ate it up, and because that was so successful, we were really close to setting up a deal with Studio Movie Grill, which is a national movie chain, and so things were like, things were really moving, and we were super excited about that. And then COVID was like, nah,
no, I'm good.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah. We just
hold on.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take that plan of yours and look at that, it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? Just so you guys know, you're not the first ones we heard that had to change their plan right away, because me and Mark talked to a great director, John Hancock. A lot of people know him in the movie business, and he was telling us, he's like, yeah, I had to go straight to Amazon, and it's not what I wanted, but you got to get your movie out there. So it's definitely difficult for everybody. There was one other one. I'm sorry. Oh, the other question I had was, why is it that you decided to have your character have a pager and no phone compared to everybody else?
Like I said, I wrote the very first draft of this in '96, and so at that time, pagers were the thing. Like, pagers were what people had, what people used.
True.
But over the years, as the script kind of went through different iterations and I began to change things, I never wanted to get rid of the pager, because to me, every year it got funnier and funnier, right? Like, he's still using this pager.
Yeah.
And every now and again I would still see people who were still using them, and so every time I would see somebody still using one, I'd be like, okay, cool, it can stay, right? Like, it's kind of crazy, but they're still out there, And
it's even funnier when Derek's character pulls up an iPhone. I see you with this pager. I'm like, he's like, I got no bars, man.
Yeah. And then, so it was just like, for me, it was just funny. As far if the further removed from pagers we got, the funnier it was to me. But then also too, I felt like it kind of summed up in a lot of ways Omar. Omar is just kind of this guy who's like, I really do one thing that, which was his writing, that he kind of puts a lot of focus and energy to, and everything else,
Yeah.
That kind of summed that up to me.
Derek's your character actually grows as the story goes on, and adjusts and change the way that
Thank you.
His character develops throughout the story. So, like, what was it like to finally hit that stride, and you're just like, you know what? I'm tired of your shit. Let's go. Let's, and be able to get like super serious, and, as your buddies would say, not be a bitch be a bitch to your girlfriend anymore, right? That was some referencing that they were putting in there. So,
well, let me first say, I chose to look at that differently. I chose. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I chose that Justin. He's the kind of guy that he knows what he has, and he wants to give his girl her flowers while they're together. He doesn't need to lose her to realize that how much he needed her in his life, right? So I chose to look at Justin that way. But when we were able to go do that scene, as there was that arc to my character, I really loved the idea that I was able to explain to her and let her know, like, listen, nah, it's not gonna be like that anymore. And I really, and I thought about that scene, and Avery and I talked about that scene, and I was looking forward to that scene throughout the whole shoot, because I knew that there was so many layers that had to be in that moment, and it couldn't be just I'm taking my toys and going home. I had to educate her as I made some different choices. I don't want to give it all away, but I really loved that scene, and it was important. And I knew that was going to be a waiting moment. And acting with Jennifer too, I thought she just did such a phenomenal job, just riding the wave with me and responding. And so both of us kind of had these arcs in our characters that kind of, two ships that were crossing that moment. I feel like Avery captured magic with that, so I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and shout out to Jennifer Ferdinand, who plays Rachel with you in that scene. Fantastic. And Yeah, I mean, the scene came out great, and that's especially thanks to Derek's and Jennifer, what they brought to it. And but it's just one of those things where it was just an important scene. I felt it had to be there because I'm big on arcs. I'm big on character arcs. I really hate archetypes. So sometimes you'll see people or characters in films, and they're almost more like a set piece or a prop instead of an actual person. And so that really rubs me every time I see that. So it was very important to me with this film to make sure every character was rounded and had a story arc. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of growth between the characters, and I like that you hit different aspects of like what guys, not only like what girls like to see, but like what guys are like, and it's definitely different. I mean, between me and Mark, even it's a whole different ball game in the way we act and we treat girls and stuff like that. So
yeah, which brings up an interesting question. Like, so for you guys, like obviously you're friends and you've worked together before on different things. Like, so in this role, what's it like when you see like a friend and someone that you've worked with in a different role, like reach that kind of level in his character and like be able to show that like on screen, like with talking to girls and like that character, like what's that like for you to kind of see that in like a friend?
Man, well, for me, it's kind of par for the course. And I say that because I've known Derek's, Marquise, and Danny. I've known them all for some years now. I mean, Danny and Marquise, I've known both of them for 24, 22, 23 years now. And now, I've known Derek's for we're going on 11, 12 years, something like that. So yeah. And at all that time, I've seen how great they are at acting, right? And I've seen their work, I've seen stuff they've done. So it was one of the reasons I really wanted them and cast them in this film is because I knew what they could bring to it, and I knew they would help make my job as a director super easy. So yeah, I mean, I wasn't surprised. I was more like just, I guess, happy. Like, yeah, that's what I knew. Yeah. I knew they would do this. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay,
that makes sense. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
for sure. Now I do want to say this, just because we dive deep into our people's history that we meet up with and we talk with and stuff. So, Derek, I see a little cameo from you on the Nutty Professor as a valet. So I have to say, he's like, I don't even remember doing that.
Like, what? If you say so.
That's actually your very first thing on IMDb. So I just had to say, what was it like when you first got, like, you were just like, okay, I get to be like this uncredited guy in a Eddie Murphy movie. Like, I mean, how is that?
I mean, it was cool. I mean, that was like one of my first things. So I was just kind of on there, thrown off that I even got to do that, and it was really cool. I mean, and just to watch Eddie work, I only saw him on film, so to be able to watch him do take after take, and Jada Pinkett Smith was on there as well, and so just to see their interaction and see, like, okay, it was just to see how their mechanics and their tools, right? What they use to motivate themselves and to be in that scene was pretty amazing to me. And the thing that was really interesting, I've learned to be a little bit more bolder now, but I remember I was at the time, I was calling my wife to check on our young son, right? I was calling on her just to check in, and Shadrach, the director, he was doing the exact same thing. We were both off to the side, calling home just to check and just make sure everything was good. And I so wish, if I had that situation again, I would have asked him. I said, Jay, let me talk a little bit, man. Let me say the next thing real quick.
Let me get like one line.
Your ticket,
I would've
Mr.
been a lot
Murphy.
bolder now.
I mean,
Yeah.
like Eddie says something in the whole movie, man. He don't have to talk right now.
Yeah,
But,
this should be my time. This should be my time.
But you know what I learned though is that I learned that everything happens for a reason, and sometimes being in the right place at the right time, if you don't take advantage of the moment, it can go. So it was a lesson that I learned, and he was such the coolest dude too. And he actually even said hi to me before I said hi, and so. But I just remember that moment. It was really like my Hollywood moment of like, wow, big cameras. You know, it's like a multi-million-dollar movie, and I got to rock and walk and act like I was about to say something to Eddie.
And we'll go back and forth because you both have been in a lot of things. I don't want to make one guy feel unwanted. But Avery. Yeah. All right, Avery. If we can mute Avery if you want. But Avery, I got a question. It's kind of raw. So you've done a lot of video game work too.
Yeah.
What to you is like? I mean, like that. I know that's a lot. It's pretty different. Like, is there a reason why you like doing a lot of video game work? Like, what's kind of your personal story behind that?
Growing up, I was a gamer. I don't play them so much anymore, just because I don't have a lot of time to play them like I used to. But I played them a lot growing up. So my systems were like the Nintendo and the Sega Genesis and these things like this. And so as far as doing the voiceovers for them, it's something I kind of just fell into. I mean, I really when I was living in New York, I went to my agent's office one day and to see one of my agents, and the voiceover guy was walking around the office, and he saw me and he goes, "Hey, have you ever done voiceover before?" And I said, "What's that?" And he said, "Well, come on with me." And he threw me in this booth and said, "Read this." And I read it. And it turned out it was something for like a Pepsi commercial, some Pepsi radio commercial. I ended up booking it, and he's like, "Oh, cool." So I just started doing voiceover from there. And as time went on, video games just started requiring actors, more skilled actors. And so I just started getting calls for those roles. I mean, it wasn't anything I necessarily pursued or was looking for. I literally just kind of fell into that, and it's been going well. I mean, the video game industry seems to dig my voice. I've done a lot, and yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we were laughing a little bit about that. We're like, geez, man, we don't realize how many voice things somebody gets into until you start looking, and stuff. And
it just keeps going and going.
Yeah.
So, Derek's with your acting and stuff, I noticed that you did a lot of TV compared to movies and stuff. Is there something that you prefer one over the other, and what would be the reason for that?
No, I mean, I think it's just the opportunities that I've been given, and the thing I do like about TV though is I will say I do like the consistency, but the art form, I will say with movies, usually you have a lot more time to play, right? You have a lot more time. Depending on what the budget is for the movie, you have more time to play. TV it used to go really fast. What I've learned with now, TV's kind of changed in that way that they're letting you play more in TV, because a lot of TV is that I do, because most of mine is drama or dramedy, is that it's not really in front of an audience. And we can kind of, with all the different options with the streaming services and all that, TV's found that, okay, we can't move as fast. We got to make sure that we're getting our moments, because there's a lot of competition out there. So I love the idea that TV is more consistent. Having a family, mortgage, kids, it provides a life that is more consistent than only doing movies. And then also I just love the camaraderie too, because a lot of times if you're on a series or recurring, you get to really build a family with people, and you get to see each other grow and different, some people are having kids, some people are getting married, some people are, buying a house, and you get to kind of go through all that journey with each other for a good time period. The show can continue. So I love that aspect of it as well. And then one other thing I would say with TV is, especially if you're like a series regular, you get the opportunity to shadow directors if you want to direct, right? You get opportunity to sit in a writer's room if you want to write. When you're a series regular, you're afforded these opportunities to really learn the business. So I've been able to shadow directors when I'm on a series and be in the writer's room and see how those things kind of work, because I knew that I wanted to express myself beyond just being in front of the camera. That's my first love. I'll always do it, but I also want some of the aspects behind the camera as well.
Okay. I like that. So we've talked about it. We kind of mentioned to you guys before. We like to kind of dive into who you guys are and the things that you guys like to do. Your personal fandom, so to speak. So we'll put it to each of you, and you guys can figure out, who wants to answer first. But when you guys are just kind of whatever downtime you do have, like what are those kind of like guilty pleasure things that you guys, have found that you've become like passionate about, in addition to obviously your directing and acting careers?
For me, it's kind of become coaching baseball. I have my son who's 13 now is a super talented baseball player, and he's been playing since he was, I guess, 4. Yeah, he's been playing since he was 4 years old. And so for a while, when he was about when he became 8, I started coaching the teams, some of the teams that he was on, and I really got into it. And then he got onto a travel ball squad, and now it's super serious, and they travel all around playing and everything. And that's kind of like when I'm not working, that's what I spend the majority of my time doing. It seems like, is shuttling him around to, his various practices and games and then just practice. And I like to work out with him too. So, we go, and when he doesn't have a practice, we go and get extra work in, and do all that stuff. And, it's cool. I mean, it's very time consuming, but it's cool because it's allowed us to bond, in a different way. It's allowed us to create a really, really strong bond, which has been really cool, and it gives us a lot of time to spend together. I mean, sometimes we'll go on these road trips, and it'll just be me and him. We just had a tournament in Yuma, Arizona, a couple of weeks ago, and that's about a 5-hour drive from where we live, and it was just me and him. So we drive there, we get to hang out and just shoot the breeze, and and it's really cool. So when I'm not working, that's actually what I spend the majority of my time doing these days.
Do you hit him with the dad chat? Are you like sitting there like, got any girls?
Yeah,
I know you do.
Yeah. Oh yeah, most definitely. I try to tell him how to, teach him how to speak to the ladies. Things,
Yeah.
That's actually how Avery actually pitches his own movie to his kids. He's just like, actually, you need to learn how to talk to girls. Here's questions.
We do this
learn
movie.
it. You'll be good to go. So, So Derek's same question goes over to you, bud.
I mean, I would have to say, especially because of COVID, but I mean, it's like, it's with the family. We're either playing video games. My son is. Mortal Kombat, I don't know if you know, is a lot different now than it was.
Oh yeah,
it is. So he's had to bring me all the way through it. Even when I was in Atlanta for a few months and we were getting on live, and I was like, okay, so how do we do? He had to really bring me through the whole gambit of it. But it's just doing that because I love golf. So I would love to go play golf, but we can't do that right now. So so I've been having fun just playing video games with my sons, or just hanging out. I mean, because we can't really go, in California and LA, a lot of things were just shut down. So we couldn't really do anything. I started they're doing some conditioning on the football. So I'll go do that. He works harder if he sees me watching. So I'll kind of go there and watch, because he'll start putting it in gear. But yeah, I'm learning the video games right now. I'm learning those, and I'm like, wait, we got you this game? They said, what? He had a Grand Theft Auto. I was like, wait, hold on. Is there a way to adjust this? So, but yeah, it's been playing video games with my son Logan a lot.
So
Okay.
are you kind of hyped to be to go see the movie with him then, since you guys are playing Mortal Kombat together?
Absolutely. I don't know him very well, but Macabre Brooks is playing Jack, so I definitely want to be like, I know him. That's
Throw that little in there. By the way, I know that guy. You know,
yeah, I'll bring him up on
just
Instagram.
saying.
Say,
You know,
see, he follows, so I could say something to him right now.
I'm gonna go get tips from the real person.
Yeah.
Come
I'll
back.
be back. Let me go get the Jeep codes from him. I'll call him.
Yeah.
Oh, and Avery, I do have to say, as a kid who was raised by a coach who was also my dad, and I played travel as well.
Okay.
He's gonna remember this a lot. I didn't play baseball. I played soccer instead. But he's gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you right now. He's gonna remember this a lot. I remember every game, and I remember getting harped on harder than any other person on the team because he was my dad.
Yeah.
So, but I'm gonna tell you, he's gonna remember that for sure.
Okay, and it's a positive thing. Okay, all right.
It doesn't seem like it right now, but yes,
Yeah, he didn't
later
say that.
on it will be.
He just said he
All right,
remembered it.
That's cool. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. That's the way you hope it turns out. That's the way you hope it turns out. Yeah.
So, what is in store for both you guys coming up shortly? You know, with COVID, obviously, I know some things are getting kind of drawn back in the industry and stuff. But what is next on the docket for both of you guys?
Well, right now, I am in the midst. I just started production on a miniseries for Netflix called True Story, and that's fun because I get to work with Kevin Hart and Wesley Snipes, who are the two stars of this show, and I get to play a guy named Julian who's a cop who grew up with them from the same neighborhood, and they get into some stuff. And my character ends up kind of taking the case, getting the case, and stuff unfolds, So I just started working on that, and that's what's going to be keeping me busy for the next month or so. Yeah. So that's what I have going on right now. Yeah.
Wow.
So something to look forward to watch on Netflix.
Yeah, absolutely. True story.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's fictional though. It's a fictional true story.
Sure it is.
Wink, wink.
Right.
And,
so what about
Derek? What about yourself?
I actually just got back from I was in Atlanta for 3 months shooting on a new series. It's called Johnson. It's gonna come out, it's gonna premiere on Bounce TV in August. We did 10 episodes, and I'm really proud of it, really excited about it. So that's what I was doing out there. So that's gonna be premiering in August. So I think we start doing a lot of press for it in the middle of May. And then we'll be doing a lot of press for it all the way up to August. So I'm excited about that. It's about 4 lifelong best friends. When we were in school in elementary, we all lined up on the blacktop in alphabetical order, and we found out we all had the same last name, Johnson, and we just remained friends ever since. So we're all in different places of life. But we help each other navigate through it.
Awesome.
I like that.
Yeah,
Thanks,
definitely.
yeah.
I regretfully am still friends with Devin, so I don't, I can't, wholeheartedly, but
yeah, it's an unfortunate circumstance for me
it's
as
true.
well. But
I mean, if you leave out context, our friendship formed by shooting Nerf guns at each other.
Wait, how long have you guys been friends?
Yeah.
What, Mark? We're going on like 3 years now.
It's not that long.
It's like 3 or 4 years. Yeah,
3 or 4. Yeah.
It's actually kind of funny. We met at working at Quicken Loans together, and we sold security systems over the phone. Like that's what we
did.
And you want to talk about a hard job? I mean, it was cold calling. So we'd be calling people randomly and just be like, "Hey, you want to buy this thing you don't need. So
Yeah.
Love that.
but yeah, we were actually ended up being like, it's funny. Me and Mark just started talking one day. We were making fun of. Actually, it's funny. We were making fun of the girl that sat across from me, and he sat next to.
Yeah, pulling her pigtails. You know, like the normal
just-
things you do when you're in your 20s.
You know, just became good friends from it. You know, it was funny. So actually, Mark started this at the beginning of quarantine, and everything became history from there. I mean,
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's very cool. That's very cool.
So
Still to this day, Devin, I will say, every time I see the things that we used to play every day at lunch.
ping pong.
No, not ping pong. Well, we played that too.
Shuffleboard.
Shuffleboard, yeah. I was at a bar a couple of days ago. There's it's like a bar nearby has like a bourbon club. So I was there with a friend of mine, just sipping on some
bourbon
bourbons. Oh yeah, there's some good ones too. It's half off bourbon. It's like Wednesday nights is half off bourbon if you're in the bourbon club, and it's like free to sign up, and it's half off bourbon. And they just got, I mean, that's literally all the bar has is like whiskey and bourbons. And so I had
Only
like
the other thing you need is a cigar.
if I could, I would love to.
Exactly.
A good cigar. Hell yeah. Like it was like 3-4 like decent, like on the rocks whiskeys. I paid like $15. I mean, like good, decent stuff too. Like stuff that would be like $10-12 a shot. And you're just getting it like in a decent glass. But they had a shuffleboard table and I saw that and I was like, Devin. And then I just, and I kept drinking. Because that's what we did every day at lunch was we'd go down and play shuffleboard.
Not drink. We wanted to.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, yeah, we did that too.
We get it, guys. We get it. We
Yeah.
get it.
Wink.
Yeah.
None of that happened, wink.
But no, actually, that's the thing. It's funny. Mark's really big into whiskeys, where I'm into cigars and stuff like that. So like I could sit there and be like, yo, this is a really good one and stuff like that. So, I seen both you guys perked up when we mentioned cigars and stuff. Are you guys?
Yes.
Are you guys like to partake?
Big cigar
Big time. I like to.
Yeah.
I introduced Derek. I pulled Derek's in because when we first met, he wasn't into him, and then he got around me a few times when I was puffing a couple, and I got him into it. But big time. I'm really our co-producer Mark Etienne he's really a big time cigar guy as well, and we go. I usually keep a humidor full of. I'm low now. I have about 30 sticks in my humidor right now, which is low for me. I usually
low.
I was gonna say,
what is max?
Mine's low.
That's nothing. Mark, our co-producer, he usually keeps like somewhere near 100 sticks on hand. He's got humidors all over the place. Big time cigar smoker.
So what was the cigar he got you with, Derek? Like what was the one that broke the camel's back?
I don't remember what I remember being blown away when he showed me. After he showed me the first one, I remember being blown away when he had, at that time, I think the third one blew me away when he had it in the refrigerator, and he had a third one, and I was like, bro, like, how do you smoke all these? Like, what do you? And that's when I started learning about aging. But my first smell of them was my grandfather, so I always loved the smell of them. But I didn't really rock them really. And then after seeing Avery with it and seeing Mark, I was like, man, that whole just the love for it came back because it made me think of my grandfather. And but I don't remember. I remember they both gave. I think Avery gave me like 3 cigars. I think he gave me.
I think the first one I gave you was an Arturo Fuente. I'm trying to remember.
You know
which
what?
one.
Probably because that's one of my favorite cigars to this day. I love that, and I love the Rosado cigar. The number 9. I love that one. But I actually got a membership. I have a membership to a cigar lounge that I even invited Avery and Mark Etienne to clientele cigar. So I was so proud when I got my own locker. It just feels kind of cool. It feels kind of cool. So I love it. So I'm really big into it now.
So
Yeah.
I'm extremely low to Avery standards with 5 sitting in my humidor right now.
Why?
yeah, no.
You're out.
Like
You're out.
2 or
I know I'm
3.
out.
Yeah.
I'm out. I'm getting ready for like a bunch of other stuff right now. So like cigars are the last on my mind. But I do the 5 Vegas. I'm a very mild smoker, so I do the 5 Vegas, and then I also do. I love Drew Estate's Acids. They're my favorite brand.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Oh, Drew Estate's your favorite? Okay.
I love them.
So you said you like the mild. Have you had the Romeo and Julieta 1874?
Oh yeah, and the
That's
Rocky Patels as well.
Yeah,
Rocky
yeah.
Patels
Those are
up there.
real good mild smokes. Yeah, yeah.
I just had a Rocky Patella San Andres.
Yes.
Yeah, I had that one. I enjoyed that one. Yeah, I just had that the other day for the first time. Enjoyed it.
Yeah.
See, I smoke them when I can. I just like I need to get more into it because like I love a good cigar. Like get me like a nice glass of like bourbon or a nice flask of whiskey, and then give me a cigar. Like I am set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so good when you're able to have like a little bourbon or whiskey with a cigar. It's just just nice. That's just nice.
Oh yeah. What's the bourbon of choice for you guys?
Well, I'm sorry. I don't know if people. So I just read a comment that came across the screen.
Yeah.
And
What did they say?
Yeah.
Okay, I know. Okay, I know what she's talking about. So I was like, oh, yeah. Should I? Do you want?
Oh yeah. You can tell a story if you want to.
Yeah, go ahead and tell the story because that's my mother.
Oh, is that your mom?
That's my mom, and then
that's
the
his
other
mom, and then this is my dad.
Ah, okay.
We got some big fans in the house, you know.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Okay.
Well, no, the reason. Okay, Dan, I'll share the story really quick. The reason why my dad is watching right now in particular is because I just interviewed Ted Lang 2 days ago from the Love Boat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I was talking to him because he's doing a bunch of plays about like Louis Armstrong, and like we were just talking about stuff, and like he's a huge comic book nerd, so we were talking about like comics, like growing up reading like Iron Man and all this stuff.
Yes.
And my parents are huge Love Boat fans, so they were pumped for weeks when they knew I was going to be talking to him. And I tried texting them like leading up to it, and they both weren't paying attention. They were watching TV. So I called them after, and I was like, "Oh, I'm done." And they were like, "Oh,
no. Well, yeah. So for your mom, definitely.
Not only is this, she also puts this right after. So, because she's like, she knows, like, that calling her out. So,
yeah. So what she's talking about, I froze when I met The Godfather. That I froze too. I've because of obviously what I do, I've met all kinds of huge stars, and it never really phases me like that, except for 2. And so the one that your mother's referring to, The Godfather. Is actually Michael Corleone, which because as I got the opportunity to meet Al Pacino, and Al Pacino is literally, if not, it's probably the biggest influence for me even wanting to become an actor. I mean, Al Pacino that's my guy. So my wife used to work at this bookstore, and he just walked in one day with I don't know if it was a really young girl. I don't remember if it was his grandchild or what, and so my wife, she's like, that's Al Pacino. So she calls me, and we lived at the time probably about a 15-minute walk from where this bookstore was, and she's like, hey, you got to get down here now. Al Pacino was in the store, and I said, wait, what? And I think I literally got there before she even had the opportunity to hang up the phone. I just
out the door,
somehow just teleported there. So when I get there, I run into the store, and he's not there. So I'm like, where is he? She was like, oh, he just walked out. And I was like, oh no, don't tell me I missed him. So I'm a little upset. So I decided to walk out of the store and just kind of look. And so I go in one direction and I don't see him. And when I turn around, he's sitting right there in front of me, and he's on the phone. So I just turn around and I freeze, and I'm just looking at him. And he's on the phone. He's not really paying me any mind. And then he kind of looks at me a little bit, nods his head, and then and then goes back to his phone conversation. But he had to be thinking, "Yo, what is going on?" Because I literally was just standing there. I didn't nod back. I didn't respond. I was froze. And so he gets up. He finishes his call. He goes into the bookstore, and my wife was doing like a story time, and there were a bunch of other kids in there, and so. I go in there and I'm watching her do the story time, and then Al Pacino comes and stands right next to me. And so now I'm thinking, oh man. And I'm telling myself, come on, Avery, just say something. Say something. Say something. Couldn't make myself say anything. So he goes away again. And I'm like, oh, come on, Avery, you're doing this. So now I'm at the checkout counter. A little time passes. I'm at the checkout counter. I'm talking to my wife, and she's like, "Are you gonna say something? What are you doing? You just gonna check it out? What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm trying to work up my nerves." and so literally right when I say that, he comes to the counter, throws a couple books on the counter, and he's like, "Yeah, I want to get these." And so my wife she goes, "Oh yeah, sure." She starts checking them out, and she's looking at me like, So I turned to him, and I don't even know what came out of my mouth. I was trying to say, "Hey, how you doing?" But it must have been something like, "Yeah, because he gives me this look like, "Yo, are you okay, Phil?" Like he has this look on his face like, all right. Now, this is how cool of a guy he is, though, because most people would have been like, all right, this dude's crazy. Let me just hurry up and finish this transaction and get out of here. This guy's a nut. He tries to engage me. Like, he's like, hey, what was that? What are you? And I was like, I'm fumbling all over myself. I had to look like a complete idiot. I'm like, yeah, and he just keeps talking. He's like, yeah. And then after, and like this goes on for maybe 2 minutes, right? Like he goes, all right, well, hey, nice to meet you. Gets the stuff. And then he leaves. And I turned to my wife and just looking at me, shaking her head, just shaking her head like, I can't believe that just happened. But I froze.
So it perked my mom's ears because in my household growing up, if you did not watch or know about The Godfather, she was not doing her parenting correctly. So it is something that she loved ever since. I mean, this gives you it right there. Leave the gun, take the cannoli. That's my mom in a nutshell. She's just like,
tell her hi.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. Yes.
I gotta share this real quick. I got to do a movie with Al called Simone.
Yeah, you did.
And it was crazy. I almost messed up the scene because Al is method. So method meaning that he's gonna use whatever is in the scene, whatever's in the moment. He's gonna, and he uses different things for his motivation. And I remember that he's playing a down and out director. He can't believe anybody's watching his movies anymore. And I played this group that we were like this followers of him. No matter what he made, even if it was trash, we loved it. And so we went to go see this screening that no one else really showed up for, except like this 12 people that showed up for his movie because he's playing a down and out director that no one sees his movies anymore. And he comes over to us. So he's standing, and it's he and Rachel Wood, and they're in the scene. And so the Andrew, the director who also directed Gattaca, he says rolling, and then out of nowhere Al just steps close to me and he looks around and he goes, where are we? Is this north, south, east, west? Where are we? And I was gonna say, hey Al, we're about to start. Like, you okay, buddy? The direction is about to go.
He said action.
Thank the Lord I did not say anything, because then the director goes action, and then Al all of a sudden just looked at us kind of dazed. And it worked perfect for the scene, because what he was saying right before that is, so you didn't think the girl looked too cartoony? So he was looking totally dazed and confused at us. So he was making himself lost in north, south, east, west, so he could bring that there. And I almost messed up the whole scene. Using it he was like, if I feel lost, then I'll play lost. That's
okay.
It's of Al Pacino.
Yeah, and that is why I'm not an actor, because I probably would have said something to him, but like, bro, you okay?
Would have immediately, but like wave my hands in the air, like, hey, wait, don't yell action. Alice doesn't know what's going on. We gotta slow it down.
Alan's not here right now. He wants to know where north, south, east, west is.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Can we get somebody over here? I don't know what direction we are either. Like, what is he? Are we going somewhere?
It was great to watch him. I was on there for a couple of days just watching him. Hopefully it didn't get too creepy because I just wanted to see everything he was doing. But he's a genius.
Yeah, he is.
He is.
Oh,
He is just one amazing actor as it is. The roles he plays are so everywhere and anywhere. It's crazy.
Yeah. If I wasn't given lines to say, I would have been doing what Abe was doing. I would have been like, I mean,
it's Al Pacino. I mean,
it's like an overload of the senses because you just like it's Al Pacino, but then you just all the characters just start flooding into, you thinking, Tony Montana, Michael Corleone, I got overwhelmed. I short circuited.
Yeah, so Derek's feel like Avery mentioned Al Pacino as an influence to him. Like who for you when you were getting into this was an influence for you in your career, and did you get a chance to meet any of those people?
Man, you know what? Of course, Al Pacino is one of them, and it was a huge deal when I got to work with him. That was amazing, and he was so generous and kind, and
true.
That blew me away. But I haven't got to work with him yet, and it's Denzel. I haven't got to work with Denzel yet, and it's my goal to work with Denzel, and I'm putting it out there. It's gonna be on my vision board in the next years. I'm gonna be in a film with Denzel. It's gonna happen. I can't wait to be able to rock with him and just one of my good friends, Sean Patrick Thomas, got to do Fences with him on Broadway, and I asked him endless questions about every night. What was his prep and what he was doing and how did he respond? And he just said he was always on the side on a stool, just writing notes every night. So I just can't wait to be able to just watch his work and watch how he does it. So that's the one I'm. Put it out there for me, guys. Be with me.
I got you. We know everybody at this point, so I mean,
yeah, we're kind of a big deal. It's no big deal. We'll put it out there.
I'll hook you up.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Yeah, send me a couple cigars. We'll call it even.
Got it.
All of a sudden, Derek's is going to be on a movie with his son and be like, "Dang, we screwed it up."
Wrong person.
It's the wrong Washington. Wrong
Washington.
Yeah.
Which I do have to say, his son is definitely walking in his father's footsteps. He is a amazing actor for the stuff that he does too. So
he did stuff on Ballers. Did you see that when he was on the series with
Yeah,
Rock?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Must be in the genes.
I was like, this dude. He's lightning in a bottle.
It was such a good show too.
Just wait till you watch. If you haven't already, just wait till you watch the movie Tenet.
I watched it.
I haven't watched it yet. I have to watch it.
I still gotta watch it.
I love Christopher Nolan too. So anything he does, it's I like to see what he's doing and learn from him. But yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, and Avery, I think you were gonna say something when Derek was talking about.
Yeah, Denzel. I've never gotten a chance to work with him, but I did get a chance to meet him and audition for him. I was up for Antoine Fisher, which was a movie he directed, and so I got down to it ended up being between me and a couple other guys, and we went and met with him, and he's a really cool guy, but it's funny. It was funny to me because he has a lot of those dents like that Denzel. That's just him, like that Denzel's or whatever you want to call it. Like, it was funny to me how much of that is like, oh, that's you, huh? That's just how you know. Man, you are cool. You are really cool. But yeah, it's like, hey, how you doing? How you doing? Yeah. You ready to do this? Huh? You think you're gonna knock it out? Huh? You ready to do this? All right, you do things. And it was funny because that's really how he cares. Like, you ready? Okay, let's go ahead. Let's do this first take and let's see how it goes. Okay, all right. Then he would sit and cock his head because during the audition, he wouldn't look at you. He'd just look at you on the screen. So he would talk to you and then be like, all right, so I want you to try this, do this, bring this to it. All right. Okay. All right. We ready? All right, go. And then he would go into the screen and just lean in like that. It was cool. Really cool guy though. Really, really fun guy. Yeah. That was it. That's what I was gonna say.
That's a cool story.
I mean, still, yeah. I mean, now you gotta hook up Derek's with him. Like that.
yeah.
Met him.
Here we
Come
go.
on.
Like, what is
Yeah.
this? Like,
Here we
Derek's
go.
asking us, and then Eric's like, oh, I mean, besides my working relationship with the guy, and I say, I don't, you know.
I mean, you have a movie with him. You know, you can got some examples and just be like, here. So we're helping you out, Derek. Don't worry.
Yeah,
I
you know.
appreciate it, guys. I appreciate
If you do questions too, you know.
Hey, yeah. We could have Denzel could be Justin's father.
There we go.
There we go.
See?
Yeah,
There you go, right
I
there.
already see it.
that works.
There
He
you
could
go.
teach you. He could teach you. You know, like, okay, you got out of this relationship. All right, write this down, Avery. Hold on, I got this.
That's right. Yeah.
So, okay, so
Small gratuities.
you know, you broke.
Yeah.
You got. You're
Yeah.
done with your girl now. You know, been out the game a little bit. You don't know if you can find a new one. Denzel comes in, starts helping you out. You
There you
know,
go.
starts
There you go.
teaching you how
There
to
you go.
See, we
get
got
you a
this.
little bit of swag
Yeah,
back
see?
into it and stuff. And
Yeah.
I hope you don't
I
mind
like
that I'm gonna use that and give you no credit. You're cool with that, right?
all the
Okay.
time,
Yeah, it's fine.
You wanna
Yeah.
double
Yeah.
check?
Oh, yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
the amount of ideas
We're-
that
we're
we have
used-
given
we're used
people
to
on
this.
this podcast, you'd be surprised. So, now before we wrap up, I do have one last question for you, Avery. And we talked about it a little bit before the podcast started. So the way I officially got introduced to you wasn't through Road Trip, which I do recognize you from that as well at the fraternity house, but it was through the new guy with DJ Quills. And so what was it like to have to play a character that is always like getting smacked or hit, or just kind of be like that crony behind somebody, and then just like all of a sudden they tell you like you gotta go walk into something like
It was hard, man, because as you can probably tell, I'm a really smooth and cool guy, right? You know, so no, it was fun. It was fun. That was the first time I got a chance to play a character like that. You know, I mean, up until that point, I was always. Matter of fact, no, because I'd done Road Trip already, but I was a cooler guy in Road Trip. But before Road Trip, everything was a drama, and I was always, everything was super dramatic that I'd done. And so that was the first time I got a chance to just be kind of goofy, you know. Well, so that was a lot of fun. I actually took to it. And you were mentioning the scene that you loved was when I hit my head on the bleach when we're under the bleachers, and I hit my head.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Like that wasn't in the script. That was completely improv. Like we were just kind of going, and I just did it. You know, I was just like we got to that point in the scene, and the director, who was Ed Dector, he didn't call cut. He used to he liked to let us play. So there was a lot of stuff in that movie. I mean, we had Eddie Griffin and in there and stuff, and you got it. Eddie Griffin's gonna do Eddie Griffin. Like Eddie Griffin's just gonna keep going. So, but it was cool. It was a lot of fun stuff. So, but the director let everybody do that. So in that scene, that was just, I don't know why I did it. That's the way I decided to end that scene when we were shooting that. I was just like, I'm just going to walk off and hit my head on this thing. But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And I'm not, I won't go into too much detail, but we were shooting that film in Austin, Texas. And it was a party film. The producers of that film, they like to party, and there are a lot of times I remember coming straight from a club or something like that and going right to set and the kind of set that was the makeup people had jugs. I didn't even know they made it like this, but they had jugs of Visine because they would constantly have to put eye drops in people's eyes because they'd be bloodshot. They took said bloodshot eyes off.
Jeez.
So
that's
questions
fun.
wasn't like
That's a
that.
thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Questions wasn't the
Questions
party
did not
movie.
have the Visine jugs on it. So
No.
Derek's wasn't showing up at like 5:30 in the morning in the same clothes the night before, just stumbling in.
I mean, what are you gonna do? As long as we don't bruise ourselves, right?
That's true. That's true.
That's right.
My last question for you guys is kind of going to be an overall question, like, because both of you have been a part of pretty iconic stuff. Like Avery, obviously, like Road Trip and a lot of games, and Derek's, you were on like a lot of iconic shows, Boston Legal, Jag, First, and like a lot of like iconic TV shows. Do you guys ever kind of like think back to the what you guys were a part of being so iconic? like when you guys were doing a lot of these things, did you see at the time that what you were on was something special? And then looking back now, how do you view these experiences you guys were a part of?
Well, for me, I never knew or had any idea. I mean, I didn't realize the type of impact some of the things that I got a chance to be a part of had until you're out in the street and people start, hey, yeah, like, for example, New Guy. I remember I was at a bar one time with a friend of mine, and we had finished, we were getting ready to leave, and we were looking to settle up. And so the bartender comes over. He goes, "Oh, so you guys are good? You guys can settle up?" I'm like, yeah. I was like, and I couldn't remember if I'd given my card, if I had a tab or not. If I was, so I pulled out some cash, and then I went, wait, did I? Maybe I opened a tab, but and so I go to ask him. He was like, "Oh no, don't worry about it, Avery. You cash is good because you didn't open a tab." And I said, oh, "Okay, cool. Wait a minute." I said, "Wait a minute. You knew my name?" He goes, yeah. I said, "Well, I didn't give you. You said I didn't open the tab. I didn't give you my card. No. So now how did you know my name?" And he goes, "Man, New Guy is one of my favorite movies. I love that movie." I said, "What? Are you kidding me?" And so yeah, like stuff like that happens. And Road Trip was crazy. Like once that movie came out, for a while, like I couldn't even walk down the street without people wanting to be like, "Yo, hey, can we do the handshake? Can you do the handshake with me?" And so, but as we're filming, no, I mean, you just have fun and and try to do the best that you can do, and you never really, at least for me, you never really know. I mean, it's just later. It kind of, for me, it always catches me off guard. Like, oh, for real? Like, oh wow, okay, all right. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
you, Drex?
For me, it's like it's like it was said. It's not until you something happens outside of it that you go, oh, because honestly, I'm always kind of really focused on the next, right? I'm always focused on what I'm doing or the next, and I remember my wife and I, we went to Hawaii and we were part of a luau. I'm not part of it. We were watching it, the performance, and a guy had said, hey, Derek's, and I was like, and I'm thinking waiter, right? I'm thinking like, oh yeah, we have an order, and he's like, no. He goes, my wife and I are sitting way in the front. They had some really great seats way in the front, and he goes, I would love if you and your wife would join us at our table. And I was like, what? He goes, yeah, you're on Any Day now, right? And you were doing NCIS. I said, yeah. He's like, yeah. Why don't you come to the front of the table? And that was amazing to me. I was like, it was so crazy to me that, wow, someone invited me all the way to the front table. At first, I thought we were just doing an order. So, I mean, I think things like that happen, or, you get a lot of times you're walking around and people are just looking at you, but they're not saying nothing.
Yeah. That gets weird. That gets weird sometimes.
Like, there's something on my face, like, because I'm not at the place where everyone always knows who I am, right?
Yeah.
But I'm at a place where they're like, okay,
maybe.
Yeah.
Well,
either I know him or he works at the grocery store that I go, like, it's like, I know. You have that a lot.
Who was that guy? Oh, that's my butcher.
Yeah, butcher.
That's what he
That's
is.
just my butcher or my plumber. I don't know. See, now we know. And now if we ever meet Derek's, we know just act cool and act normal. And if we ever see Avery, to just walk up right next to him and just stare at him and say nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'll even do the side head tilt.
Just there he is.
Yeah, exactly.
But
know
like
you.
directly in front of you. Just
So since we're gonna wrap up here, guys, what besides questions?
well, we're gonna make Derek's kill his car battery.
Yeah.
Turn this light on.
Besides questions, which is now able to be seen anywhere and everywhere.
Mhm.
What other things would you guys like to promote?
Oh man. Well, let me see. For me right now, I can be. Oh well, you can hear me in Soul. Little Pixar by a little company called Disney put out a movie called Soul. You can hear my voice.
Just a quick name drop.
Yeah. And then also, I I did a character on there's a Fast and the Furious cartoon on Netflix right now, and I can be heard in that. So you can check that out, and then just be on the lookout for True Story, which is what I'm filming currently.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, for me, everyone, if they could just be on the lookout for the new series Johnson on Bounce TV. It starts airing in August, this summer. Just look out for that. We did 10 episodes, so it'll be a nice ride for people to really be part, really watch the story ensue. And then also my producing partner and I, MD Walton, we have some other projects that we're producing, and one is called Michael, and so we're looking to get that to the next stage. So we'll see, but that'll be a minute before anyone sees that, but they'll be hearing some news about that soon. And then I'm trying to push Avery to make questions a series and write that into an episodic.
I'm working on it. It's being written.
He wants faster results, Avery.
Takes time.
Hey,
Yeah,
I mean, it
I'm
can be
working on
done. I mean, the guy got a job at the end, right? So, or did he? I
It's
don't know.
true.
I can't spoil it for everybody who hasn't seen it yet.
You know what's funny though is like people still want to know what's going to happen to these characters. Like they're still there. They want to know, do they stay broken up? Is he going to get married? There's a lot of questions to be answered. And so I think if he tells that in an episodic format, there's an opportunity to really dive into the character.
Yeah,
So-
and now he's got the Netflix hookup. So I mean,
There you go.
Yeah.
He's gonna get you hooked up with Denzel, and we'll get it all
right.
squared away.
and then just send us cigars, and we contributed nothing to it, but just, throwing that out there.
Got it. Done. If I could, and just my handles of, on.
Oh,
all
yeah, of
social
course.
media,
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
all
mention
social
those
media.
two, because we'll go back after when this is live right now, but we'll release this as episodes later, and
Great.
I'll go through and I'll pull all the stuff you guys are saying and post it. So yeah, go over all your socials too.
For the social media on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, it's all the same. It's Derek's Brady, DERREX BRADY. So please find me out there and let's connect.
Yeah, and for me, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the stuff. It's also all the same. It's Avery Kidd Waddell, and that's KIDD, and then Waddell has 2 D's and 2 L's. So yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. And just for everybody out there, I just want to say thank you again to Avery Waddell and Derek's Brady for coming on. That is Derek's Brady, bitch, as I wanted to say it, because why not, right? So
Why not?
Why not?
But please go ahead and check out their movie Questions. Me and Mark both checked it out and loved it. It was a great film. And it definitely, if you're a guy and you're getting into the dating world and stuff, it is hilarious to match it up to. Actually, if you're already dating somebody, it's even great to match it up to your own life.
Sure.
So for sure, Mark, what else
Yeah.
do we got to run through?
Yeah, as always, the thing that Devin can't do, I will take care of. But no. So as always, everybody, hope you guys enjoyed this as much as we did. We try to bring on people that we know are going to have not just fun stories to share, but experiences that can maybe help you guys out there find something else to be passionate about, perhaps find a new fandom, something new to explore, find a new door to open that maybe now you won't be as afraid or as scared to open. That's kind of the doors we're trying to knock down here at the Fandom Effect. If you do like what we're doing, Facebook and Twitter, very simple, at Fandom Effect. You can also check us out on any major podcasting platform, obviously the normal ones, Apple, Spotify, Pandora. If you're crazy and you use Alexa to listen to podcasts, you can find us on there, and then also message us to let us know why you use Alexa, so I can figure out why that works and why that's a thing. But whatever. In addition to that, if you do want to watch, catch me something I'm doing on Twitch, twitch.tv/Bushido Geek. You can also catch me on Instagram at Bushido Geek Cosplay. You can follow along the funded cosplay adventures I do, cosplaying people from DC and Marvel and all the other fun stuff that I'm doing on there. If you do want to support the show in any way, we do have our Patreon up, patreon.com/Phantom Effect Podcast. There's just different stuff on there. You can play games with us. You can get direct questions to our guests. We'll do fan segments where you guys can get direct questions, things like that. And really, we got a lot of cool stuff in the works. And of course, you can also catch us every Sunday night on the Scene Snobs Network, where our episodes will also air. So get ready for that. You guys can also catch us on there. And I'll tease this now because I'm not done finishing it yet, but I will be debuting a new weekly nerd news show on that network every Friday night coming up here in the next couple weeks, where I'm just going to be going over stuff that's happened in the nerd geek sphere in the past week, from animated comics to video games. So you guys can stay tuned for that. But that's about it. That's going to do it for us here on this very edition of the Phantom Effect. So just remember to never be afraid to explore a new fandom, find something else to be passionate about, knock down those doors, keep doing new and exciting things. That's what we're here for. And that's what we're here to help you guys do. As always, remember, when you do find one fandom, just be careful because 3 more rise to join it. Yes, I stole that from Marvel. Make no shades about that. But that's going to do us for this week. We will see you guys on the very next edition of the Phantom Effect Podcast.
Run credits.